Hello, and welcome to Esther's Gardening Adventures. I'm Esther, and for this last day of Radish Week, we are going to be roasting radishes. Now, I did try a roasted radish recipe that included the greens last year, and I really enjoyed it. But I wanted to try maybe a simpler recipe that had less steps. The one that included greens included sauteing it in the pan first, and then putting it in the oven, and then taking it back out and sauteing it some more, and it took a bit of time. This one is pretty much like you prep it, put it in the oven, take it out and eat it. So that's definitely my style at the end of a work day on a Friday when I don't feel like spending a lot of time on a side for our dinner. So let's get to the kitchen and check out this recipe and see how it goes. All right, so now I just cut them in half while the oven's heating. And I'm probably, these longer ones, I think I'll cut twice. These are white icicle radishes. I think I'm gonna do this whole bowl. We have a few more out in the garden. We're pretty close to the whole bowl, I think. So I've only done roasted radishes once, and that was last year. But I've heard that when you roast them, the flavor changes, and that the profile of them becomes much less, look at this long radish, the flavor of them becomes much less spicy, goes away, but the nice, like any root vegetable, the nice root kind of flavor of it comes out. So we'll see. Now, since I pulled some of these relatively recently, I am checking to make sure that the middles haven't been eaten by any critters, and that also they haven't gotten too pithy, because you leave them out too long, you will have pithy. You know what, I need a bowl to put, I'm gonna toss the ends back into the bowl. I'm not being very consistent in what size I'm cutting them, but that's alright. That's the fun of learning how it works. So to keep them looking fresh in the fridge, I've just kept them in a bowl of water. Helps them not dehydrate, and keeps them nice and cool. And I haven't really noticed the flavor being affected by them. And they've been in the fridge for 3 or 4 days this way. So I think it's been okay. I think the French breakfast radish is really my favorite. I just love that white tip to it. Now, sometimes the radishes have like these little roots or hairs, you could call it. I like to cut them off if I'm going to be presenting them in a way that somebody's going to be noticing those little things. I don't want them to be turned off. Personally, if I'm cooking for myself, I'll leave it on. I don't care. But since I'm going to be sharing this with my husband, if I see something that's really obvious, I'm going to trim it off. Well, no, maybe I'll break them in half. I don't know. I'll kind of decide. Let's cut them. And these round ones are early scarlet globe radishes. Now, I have actually been looking at fun radishes to try next year, and you guys, I cannot wait to expand my horizons a little bit and try some additional varieties. I've had, now this one's been eaten by a critter, and I do not think I'm going to use it. Now, because it's roasted, I feel less worried about it, but I really don't. I have enough radishes here that I'll be fine. Without having to scrimp by saving from the compost pile something that some critter has been gnawing on. I think if I were early in my radish days and not so far into the week of radishes, I would probably, that's interesting. I would probably save it. But since I'm not at the beginning of my radish week, I'm not tired of them yet, but I'm definitely definitely at the stage where I feel like I've made a good use of the radishes. And you haven't even seen it. I've had radishes like every meal for all week. So so there we have it. Beautiful radishes. Now let me get out my baking pan. I think this should be big enough. Okay, so here's the ingredients we're going to use with these beautiful radishes. Some black pepper that I think I got butter on. Okay, I need to wipe that down. I'll take care of that in a second. Aha, the stove is done. Fantastic. Some salt. I'm supposed to have smoked paprika, but we just ran out of it, so we'll just use regular paprika. Garlic powder and onion powder. I think I said olive oil, but if I didn't. Now this is my first time making this exact recipe, but I'm treating it just like I do anytime I'm doing a roasting. Anytime I'm doing a roasting recipe, you basically coat it in olive oil, put whatever spices you want on it, and toss it in the oven for the recommended period. That's pretty much what I'm going to do here. Let me clean this off first. All right, so I'm starting off with the olive oil. I'm just going to drizzle enough in that I think will coat them all. If it doesn't, I'll add a little more. To the pepper. Since my husband doesn't like onions, I'm just going to do a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of onion powder. Just like that much. That's probably even too much. Garlic powder. Maybe a little bit more. A little bit of paprika, which I think is a really great idea. I think that'll taste really nice. Okay, let me stir that up. Normally I would use my hands, but I don't really feel like getting them oily today, so we're gonna do it the way someone who's actually cooking for other people would do it. Oh, that's looking gorgeous. I don't know how well you can see. Oh yeah. That's gonna be delicious. See how well these are coated. Yeah, good enough. All right. Let's pour them into the pan. Make sure I get all that olive oil out there. All right, let's go ahead and, oh, they're so pretty. Pop those beauties into the oven. There we go. It's been a half an hour. Let's see how everybody's doing. Oh yeah, that's looking great. My goodness, that's looking really, really cool. There it is in all its splendor. Let's take a fork and see if they're cooked all the way through. I'm not sure. Let me taste one. I might have to put them back in for a few minutes. I can't tell because maybe the outside gets hard. That's really good. They're still kind of watery. I think I forgot to put salt on the whole thing, didn't I? I definitely forgot to put salt on it. I'm like, why does it taste flavorful but bland? I forgot the salt. Good God, people. All right. Now let's try one with some salt, huh? Oh, Esther. There you go. Now it tastes right. Oh, now I want more. Look at that beautiful goldenness. Your fork goes through it fine. Let me try a bigger piece. Let's see. Yeah, it goes through okay. All right, let's try a bigger piece and see how I did. I think I should have given them 10 more minutes, or maybe 5 more, to get more of the water out for the bigger ones. But for this one, it's about right. But I highly recommend you try it. They're tasty. They're not hot like they were. They taste a lot like, kind of how I think of a rutabaga, I think, maybe. And it's just still a little moist, but that all the seasonings. Yeah, definitely gonna try this again, and it's a good way to use up your recipe. I think I'm gonna do a spritz of lemon. Like I said, I love lemon. You're coming along on this adventure like I promised. Ooh. All right, Mr. Lemon. We got a big lemon. I don't think we need quite that much lemon. Make sure I have some salt. A little spritz of lemon. Just a couple drops. Oh, wow. That really changes the flavor. But I'm not sure it solves it. I like it. I think I like it better without the lemon. I wonder if I put butter on it instead of olive oil. Let me try this one that's a little more thoroughly cooked. Come on, drop a lemon. All right. So I recommend cooking your radishes for 40 minutes instead of 30 like I did. I'm still gonna eat them because I'm too hungry to put them back in, and they're good enough for me. But I would definitely cook them a little bit longer and maybe add a little bit of lemon, and definitely remember to put the salt in yours, unlike me. I honestly can't believe I forgot that. I really don't think I've ever forgotten salt in my life before. You get to see it. Dinner time. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you aren't already a subscriber, please consider doing so. And make sure to hit that bell so you get alerted whenever I post new content. And otherwise, I'll see you next time.